Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 1982. Today I thought we'd mix it up a little bit. Be prepared to be inspired.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, inspiring automotive enthusiasts, and welcome to Cars Yeah. Today I'm in Auburn, Washington, just north of Gig Harbor here. Finally, the sun came out and the snow is melting. We've had a very odd 7 days of snow here. We're welcoming back the liquid sunshine, as we call it. And I've got a very special guest on the show today with me. It may kind of mix you guys up a little bit, but you'll understand the words there. Anthony Ray. Anthony, welcome to Cars Yeah, my friend. Do you have any gear and are you ready to release the clutch?
Let's get it, man. Let's get it. I haven't used the old clutch in a long time. I've been doing paddle shifters for a few years.
You know, I have a E46 M3 and I bought that car new back in 05. I bought it with SMG. People give me grief, but I was in an ugly commute situation, but I wanted something fun. I had a C4S before that and my old left leg was just getting tired of dealing with the traffic. I love the paddle shifters. I think they're cool.
I love them. I absolutely love them. I mean, I had a few of them. My very first exotic was a Testarossa.
Ooh.
And boy, you talk about that clutch, it'd make your left leg bigger than your right leg. That's
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, those old Ferraris. Well, I'm going to give you a proper introduction in a second, but before I do, hey, Anthony, what's one little thing that most people may not know about somebody as famous as you?
Actually, before today, they may not know that I'm actually into cars. I wasn't just posing in a video with them. They may not know that, but they will after today, trust me.
Yeah, no kidding. And that's why I wanted to have you on the show. I was teasing Anthony before we got on the line here. I was talking to my daughter. She's in her 30s. She has her first little baby. And I said, guess who I'm interviewing today? And she's like, who, Dad? I said, Sir Mix-a-Lot. And she went, what? Are you kidding me? What? Have you changed it from Cars Yeah to Music Yeah? And so we had a fun little thing. So we're going to have fun today. So let me give you a little brief introduction because everybody knows who you are. Anthony Ray, known by fans as Sir Mix-a-Lot, is the owner of Rhyme Cartel Records and Mix-a-Lot Publishing. He's a songwriter, producer, performer, rapper, TV performer, and entrepreneur. His hit song Baby Got Back peaked at #1 on the Billboard's Hot 100. You may think you know all about Anthony and his music, but what you may not know is that he is a diehard car guy who you'll find at cars and coffees, driving events, and hanging with fellow automotive enthusiasts just like us today. We'll be back in just a minute, Anthony, but first a word from our valued sponsor. So give him a little love and we'll be right back. We're with Sir Mix-a-Lot. I love Covercraft's new 5-layer all-climate cover. It was developed and engineered for anything Mother Nature can throw our way. It's very soft, breathable, and easy to store and pampers your paint and interior surfaces, providing maximum UV, rain, dust, and snow protection. Add their gust guards for windy conditions for extra protection. Their 5-layer all-climate cover is custom-tailored with Covercraft's attention to detail, form and fit with a quality and attention that's been their standard since 1965. Covercraft protects cars, trucks, motorcycles, RVs, trailers, and watercraft too. Every one of my vehicles is protected by a Covercraft cover. And I have a deal for you. Use the code YEAH21 at covercraft.com and you'll get 10% off your Covercraft order plus free shipping. That's right, 10% off and free shipping. Just type in the word YEAH, Y-E-A-H, 21 at checkout, YEAH21 at covercraft.com. Covercraft, protecting the things that move you. Most people don't think about their collector car insurance until their annual premium becomes due. Well, why wait and see if there are better options for your beloved rides? I didn't. Did you know if you change carriers before your policy runs out, your insurance company has to refund you the unearned portion of your policy premium? I did my homework, I shopped around, and I found American Collectors Insurance. And that's who protects my Porsche Turbo. That's right, the one I call my Orange Crush. They've been protecting collector vehicles since 1976. I encourage you to call my friends at American Collectors Insurance. Ask them about their agreed value policy. And if your collector vehicle is on your regular auto policy, you will be shocked at the savings, not to mention the assurance, should something bad happen to your ride, that you'll get what your vehicle is actually worth. Give them a call today for a quote at 866-ACI-YEAH. That's 866-224-9324. Tell them you're a friend of Mark Green at Cars Yeah, American Collectors Insurance. Classic car insurance designed by collectors for collectors. Automotive enthusiasts just like you and me. That's American Collectors Insurance. Give them a call today. So, Anthony, we're back. So before we get into your car world, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your music life and what that was like. And then we're going to talk about how you've incorporated cars into this, not only into your music, but also into your life. But first, music, the world of music. You're a Seattle kid. How'd you get into this?
It's kind of weird. I was, as a young guy, music was all around me. Of course, every entertainer says the same thing, right? My mom, but I remember genres. I remember feel of songs, why songs sounded the way they did, what made a sad song sad, what made a great song great, what made a fun song fun. And my mom was into the blues, B.B. King, Bobby Blue Bland. She loved that stuff, right? Yeah. My dad was into like Southern jazz, the Crusaders, bands like that, a little, Grover Washington Jr., stuff like that.
Yeah.
My brother, on the other hand, was into early rock and early soul. So James Brown all the way over to Peter Frampton. Ooh. I mean, he's listening to all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And here I come. And I'm listening to all this stuff, and then up comes P-Funk. And that's when I get into Parliament Funkadelic, Bootsy Collins, which all come from the James Brown tree.
Yeah.
And I said, man, I'd love to do music, but I don't have a band. I don't know how to play any instruments. And one day, this channel called MTV pops up.
Yeah.
And I see a group called Kraftwerk.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Remember
German band, and no instruments, and they had these little tiny buttons, and they were hitting. I'm like, yes, that's it. That's what I want to do, right? And my mom's like, you better get a job first, son. I'm 16 years old.
Sure.
And I went. I did it. I did what she said. I went and got a job, after school job. You could do that back then. And I had 2 jobs in the summer. What I did is I couldn't afford new gear, but I've been into electronics since I was 14 years old, and I would buy broken down units, broken down mixing boards. You replace it. So it was always power supply. Guys were throwing away this stuff over a $8 power supply. I felt like I was getting away with theft, Yeah. And I got my first studio together. I was living in the projects. I had a little 8-track, reel to reel, and I took an old mixing board and fixed up. It was 8 channels, but only 6 channels worked. I'm like, that's close enough.
Sure.
And and that's where it got started. And I started recording tapes for people. So you could come over. I couldn't really make songs yet. So what I would do, I would take various songs, mix them, and then do rap pieces and put your name in it.
Oh, cool.
Right? So your name would be in your song. People would come by. And actually I found out one famous person actually came by, but he doesn't want people to know because he was in town doing something he shouldn't have been doing. So I'll leave that alone. But
okay.
Yeah, I would do these feature tapes, and your name would be in it. If you're John, I'd put John's name in it and rap about you and all that. And I was getting $10 a tape, but I thought I was getting rich. I really did.
Yeah, this is a little forte into your entrepreneurial brain, because one of the things I admire about you, Anthony, is you're a businessman. And we talked about this in our pre-show chat, that a lot of people that get into music or professional sports, they hit it big and then they blow it because they don't think of the business side, how to deal with money, how to live with money all of a sudden if they've never had it before, and it evaporates very quickly. It seems to me, your story right there, you were an entrepreneur from the very beginning, and that's carried through in your life.
Yeah, let me tell you where that came from. Actually, my mom and dad separated when I was 7, but my dad was always in my life. And I remember my grandmother lived over there on 30th and Alder in the CD, and back then, the central area was all African American. Mm-hmm. So I'm telling my dad I wanted to buy some shoes, some Nikes, the Nikes that the Sonics had on. This is the year they were really good, and they had gone to play against the Bullets, and they lost. They lost the first time. And in between that and the second time, I wanted to get the Nikes that Gus Williams wore.
Of course.
And my dad says, well, come here, son, let me show you something. So we're looking across the street. He said, okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses over there. Of those 5 houses, 4 of the houses have elderly occupants. I said, yeah. He said, you got a push mower over here. You get $20 a lot.
There's a pair of shoes.
There's a pair of Nike. And back then, Nikes were only $60.
Only, yeah.
Only, yeah. And they were about $40 really. But I went down and bought a couple of pair of Nike, and that's when it started. I was like, I want more, And he said, well, work more.
Right.
And that's kind of where it came from. And I kept that. That is the reason, to your point earlier, that I think so many entertainers go broke. I went broke because it came fast. And it felt like it came easy. Mm-hmm. So I was going, oh, this work stuff? Who needs that now? And that's kind of the way I looked at it. But then when I actually went broke, when the IRS knocked on the door and said, that's it, the jig is up, that's when I started to get that work ethic back and figure out creative ways of leveraging my brand. And without, how guys look really desperate. They do something really stupid on television. You go, oh, man, like he's your son. You're like, oh, God.
Yeah. Why'd you do that?
I did a couple of those by accident, kind of got snuck up on, but I realized really quickly how to license product and how to deal with brands. Brands have more money than time, and there's so many artists that go, look, I'll get to the song Thursday, or I'll do it next week, and they don't have time for that. So I said, I have my own studio. I'm sitting in it right now. I've had a studio from day one.
Wow.
So when I deal with a brand, I'll give you an example. I did a project for Target. And I have re-record rights. When I did my contract with Rick Rubin, I made sure I had re-record rights, which gives me the right to re-record my own songs and not have to wait to get clearance. They could call me direct and go, can you put this in it instead of that? Because the brand is real finicky about blank. And I learned quickly how to deal with brands, how to not think they're crazy. There's words they can't say and words they have to say. And that's where it came from. And that kept me kind of climbing, and now the word is out that, this guy's pretty easy to deal with. If you want something done, call him up.
Yeah, it's magical. I had John Oates on the show a couple years ago. He's a car guy of Hall & Oates, and he talked about that. There was a point where he was out making great money. Those guys were knocking it out of the park. And one day his wife called him while he was on the road and said, there's some people here and they're taking our house away from us. And he's like, what? And yeah, he'd had his I think it was his manager had embezzled all of his money and wasted it all and not been paying his taxes. Of course, the IRS always gets their money no matter what. So the fact that you learned about business, and I saw some great YouTube videos of you talking about the importance of branding, licensing. That's how you figured out how to do all this, right?
Yeah. And my thing is I've always been taught by my mom and dad to be modest, right? But sometimes you have to kind of step out of yourself and go, why do people like you? You have to ask yourself that. Once you figure that out, then you can kind of modulate that and kind of get things to move certain directions, to get things business-wise to go where you want them to go. I knew, having a hit that big, if you follow it up with something that sounds similar, it tanks. If you follow it up with something that's really bad, that original song tanks. People stop liking it. They're like, he did that song. After that, I'm done with him. So yeah, even though I did records after that, I never tried to make them as big. Intentionally. I did not, because I knew that was probably going to be career suicide if I tried and it flopped. And that's kind of, I let Baby Got Back be what people want it to be. And that's it.
Well, and it's still around. As I was mentioning to you, my daughter was talking about Britney Spears posted something. She still follows Britney Spears. I took her to Britney Spears concerts when she was a teenager, went out to the Gorge and stuff. And actually, when I took her the first time, I took her and a bunch of her girlfriends, and I thought, this is going to be miserable. And the show that Britney Spears put on back in the day, I was like, oh man, this gal knows how to entertain people. And my daughter was saying something about, Baby Got Back, the fact that it's still around. This is something that has had a life, and you're about to do a 30-year anniversary of this song, right?
Yeah,
has it been that long?
Yeah, I wrote it in 91. It came out in 92.
Wow.
And May the 7th. And it's pretty interesting. I have a show on May the 7th, so we're celebrating the anniversary, obviously.
Congratulations.
And some NFTs going on. But that song was originally written out of frustration.
Really?
Right? It was going to be a serious song initially. And what I was noticing is that if you go back to that era, and I'm sure you remember well, supermodels were like heroin addicts. I mean, they were shaped like this. They were literally this thin.
The Twiggy. It was even the Twiggy look, but even later, Twiggy was the 60s, kind of 70s. Yeah.
Yeah. They all look like heroin addicts, man. And I'm like, this is bad. And so it was born out of that.
Okay.
And it turned into, it just snowballed. And finally, the Cosmo disc caught on and MTV banned it. And this is an interesting story. MTV banned it while they don't use the word ban. They say they moved it to nighttime. Well, the song was number one in the world, or number one in the country at minimum, and number one on MTV. But they had to move it to nighttime. Yeah. Okay. Whatever you call it, I call it banned. You call it moved. But I didn't see it after 9 o'clock, and I thought my career was over.
Oh wow! And
the publicist, Heidi Robinson, who I talked to the other day, and I'm not sure she remembered it. I do, because it was a major part. I thought my career was over.
Wow! And
she called me and she said something to me and had to get off the phone. She said, "Mix, you are now Elvis Presley, and you shook your leg one too many times on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Oh my
Goodbye."
God. Oh my gosh!
And I'm like, "Oh, wow. I'm the forbidden fruit." Yes.
Yeah, maybe I could do something with that.
That's the only thing that keeps a big pop song from turning corny. Is all of a sudden something about it somewhat forbidden, and it gave it legs. You know.
Yeah. Or gave it back.
Yeah.
A little bit. Well, let's segue this into cars, because I think of you when I look. I have a car that I've had for 13 years now. It's a 930 Porsche Turbo, 87, and that car's got back. I always say, when people say, what do you love about that car? Well, it goes back to my youth when I was, in the 80s, I was just married, new house, new baby, couldn't afford a new turbo, but I wanted that car because I'm a Porsche guy, but it's got hips. And I always say, I love it because it's got nice hips, those hips sticking out. So I want to talk to you about cars and how you've incorporated that into your life. So we're going to take a short break for our sponsors, and we come back, we're going to be talking cars with Sir Mix-a-Lot. This will be fun.
I got a bunch of Porsches. This will be fun.
Sit tight. You listeners know I've been into car care my entire life. I am so excited to team up with AutoGeek in 2022. AutoGeek.net has been a leading source of auto detailing products, accessories, and expert knowledge for more than 20 years. What started in 1997 as a mail-order catalog company has grown into a multi-website based e-commerce store that they are today. With a large online presence on its own website featuring close to 100 different brands, AutoGeek has grown to be the largest car care retailer in the country. AutoGeek's wholesale program serves accounts in over 30 countries, and its retail sector ships worldwide. Go to autogeek.net for the best product selection on the internet today and their stellar technical support. autogeek.net. It's where I go for all my detailing needs. That's autogeek.net. Linkage. It's a new quarterly publication and website that covers the automotive market, driving, restoring, collecting, and discovering your passion for motor vehicles. Linkage is about experiences, opinions, and values. Linkage is an actual informed, reasoned opinion based on first-hand experiences. A talented linkage team covers the automotive world, the people who share your passion and mine, smart, considered, rational, and experienced opinions, ones you can learn from and grow. That includes our passion that drives auctions and the collector car market. So come with me and join us on this journey. And be sure to use the code CARSYEAH when you subscribe, and they'll give you $10 off. Boom! Linkage, geared for the automotive life. Subscribe today at linkagemag.com. So we're back, my friend. So let's talk about this. Now, cars have been an integral part of a lot of YouTube videos, of MTV videos, of car culture, rap culture. I mean, all sorts of things. You talked about your mom loving B.B. King, Riding with the King, Eric Clapton, B.B. I mean, cars are Chris Rea, big time into cars. I mean, a lot of rap stars have these exotic cars on their shows. When were cars an integral part of your life? When did that come into your life?
Well, I got into cars before I had a song out. I literally, first car I had was this old 69 Buick. That's the song. I did a song about it called My Hoopty. And that song went gold.
Yeah, there you go.
Old 69 Buick, and so I was into cars already. Obviously, you get what you can touch. I could touch a Buick. I kind of got to a Cadillac, barely, right? And then when I put out Posse on Broadway, it did pretty well. So I took some money from that and I bought my first real exotic, which was a 87 Ferrari Testarossa.
Ooh, Miami Vice.
Yeah. And I like you got into Porsches.
Yeah.
I had 3 of those. I bought a 83 Porsche Gambala, which was very nice, actually.
Oh, my goodness. There's a special car.
Yeah, then I had an 84 Porsche Gambala, my dumb butt. Told Uwe Gambala, or somebody representing him on the phone, I didn't want the fiberglass hips on the car. I wanted them steel.
Oh.
Big mistake.
That was the wrong thing to say.
Talk about tail happy. Oh, my God, dude.
Oh, added all that weight.
Yes.
That was already back there.
Once the inertia kind of, once the car kind of twists, it's gone. It's turning around and going the other direction. And that car was a bat out of hell, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've had probably, like 30 cars. I actually wrote down a list. And but I got into them probably around Miami Vice.
Yeah. Like
most people my age, Miami Vice is what messed us up. And I bought cars, really nice ones and really bad ones too. The first Diablo I had, ooh.
Yeah, those early Diablos were a little dicey.
Yeah, mine caught fire on 405.
What?
Yeah, I'm driving it. Me and my buddy Ron were driving, and he's like, "You smell that?" And I didn't know what melting metal smelled like.
Yeah, you didn't ever want to know that smell.
And we get out the car, and it looked like somebody was soldering under there. I saw this bright silver stuff dropping down, and that was it. We just ran, went to a phone booth back then. Didn't have the cell phones. So we went to the phone booth and called somebody. And in all fairness to Lamborghini, they cleaned that up real quick.
Yeah.
They took the car in, kind of refunded me. But what they did is they kind of put me in line for the 94 Diablo VT, which I ended up with next.
Ooh, nice. Well, that was an improvement.
Yeah. Yo, big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
Whole different kind of car. Well, let's talk about some of these cars you've had, because you've had quite a big variety of cars. Now, when you and I first met, gosh, it had to be 15 plus years ago, maybe even 20. You were at an event that you're showing me a list. Okay, let's do this. You got a list. I'm going to have you run through this list real quick, okay? Because you're a guy who can talk fast. So
all right,
walk through this list, okay?
This is junkers and all.
Okay.
All right, these are no particular order. I had an 87 Ferrari Testarossa, 94 348 Ferrari 348 Spider, 94 512 TR. I don't know what year this was. I had a 430 red. I had an F430 black, a 2006 Ferrari 612, 91 Diablo, 94 Diablo VT, 2007 Lamborghini LP640, 2013 Lamborghini Aventador, which I still have, 2012 McLaren MP412C, 92 Dodge Viper, 500 SEL black, blah, 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 500 SEC convertible, ex-drug dealer's car, bad move.
Okay, yeah.
600 SEL back in the 90s, 500 SL, 500 SL white, 500 SL blue, S550, Porsche Gambala 83, Porsche Gambala 84, factory slant nose turbo, 1988, and a half, white over lipstick red. Only paid 44, sold it for 64, thought I got away with murder, now the car's worth 250.
Yeah, no kidding.
Porsche America Roadster, that's another one that went up in value.
Yep.
91 Turbo Cab, a 2009, 1987 Corvette, 2008 Audi R8, 2018 Audi RS7, BMW 750iL, BMW 850, BMW 750 all-wheel drive, piece of junk, Bentley Turbo R, Cadillac Escalade, GMC Typhoon. That's
holy mac. Well, obviously, there's a trend here with you like power, you like cars that are sporty and so forth. I think that's pretty darn cool. If you think about all those vehicles that you've had, let's touch on maybe one. That may be tough, but just one that really stands out for you, and maybe share a story about that ride.
I really think, even though I've had better cars, there's two cars that stood out. One was something about that 87 Testarossa. It was my first exotic, big, nasty, wide, obnoxious, and it's just something visceral about this. First gear, obviously, when you go down. Yeah. And when I do that on stage, people are like, look, he has the gears backwards.
Oh, yeah.
No, you have the gears backwards.
Yeah.
It's this.
Yeah. It's right? got that weird, it's got that weird shift gate. Yeah. And the wonderful metal shift gate that they had on those cars.
And now don't laugh at me.
No.
I literally, before I bought that Testarossa, could not drive a stick.
Really?
Never driven one.
Oh my gosh, that's an awkward car to start on.
It was like, I get it. And the back then, when you bought an exotic up here, the insurance company had to come when they dropped it off, you couldn't even drive it around the block.
Really?
They would meet the car at some place, usually at the insurance company itself.
Right. And
they had to go through it, find out what it was. They knew nothing about exotics up here back then.
Wow.
So yeah, that car stood out, and the 2009 Porsche Turbo Cab. Something about Porsches, what I like about them, they're fast, they're understated, so you can drive them every day.
Yeah.
And people don't want to see you coming off that red light. They they don't want to see you. They're like, oh no, act like I don't see the Porsche.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's
Look the other way. Look the other way.
just very smart cars, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a Werner Rampeltshammer.
Okay.
He was some guy that built Andile motors for the Porsche race team.
Oh, yes. Okay. I know who you're talking about.
And I made the dumb mistake of having him come up and take my 87 and blow it out and put this big motor in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't, keep in mind, there was no traction control in 1987.
Right.
Yeah, that was a death trap.
Well, there's a reason they call those cars Widowmakers back in the day.
Oh yeah, all the 930 turbos.
Oh yeah, yeah. The baby got back becomes baby got front really quick when that car spins around and does that to you.
Start to see what's going on behind you.
Well, no, it's not what you want to do. Absolutely. You know, I like to ask my guests about a challenge. When you're in the music business, there's a lot of challenges, and you mentioned one of them. I mean, you got to a point where your money went away, then you had to reinvent yourself, build that money back up. Is there one challenge, and maybe we stick to the car world, but if you want to go business world, that's okay with me. It's really more about that lesson that it taught you so that you can move forward in a really positive way.
Well, you know, I got around a good friend of mine. I don't think he minds me saying his name. He is a car nut.
Oh, yeah?
Greg Whitten.
Oh, Greg. Yeah, I know Greg. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Greg Whitten. I learned one thing from him. He didn't know I learned it. He'll find out now. And that was don't pose. Because they know, right? So Greg is you're not going to pose around Greg Whitten. He's going to go, okay, maybe he did buy that.
Yeah.
No, he can tell, you know, and I learned a lot just being around him. A guy that can afford anything he wants. Sure. Makes you kind of humbles you a little bit, but he's so modest about it. Yeah. It's almost like he doesn't know he's rich, but he's a good dude. And I just learned a lot being around him. You know, the way he looks at cars. I mean, he loves them. But he keeps it it keeps it in perspective. Doesn't mean you're better than the next guy. He doesn't act like that. You know,
I met Greg years ago when I was at Griot's Garage. I used to go up to, John Shirley as well. I used to go up to his garage, the Spinner Garage, and we'd shoot pictures of his cars for our catalog covers. And we were there, I think it was the second time I'd ever been there. And he said, hey, there's a guy who has a warehouse just like right there next to mine. Yeah. And he's got some cool cars. You want to go over there? And I said, yeah. And I didn't know Greg at that point. I had heard of Greg Whitten, but didn't really know who he was. Went over there, and he was trying to get a air pump working or something. He bought this little air compressor or something. We walk over, very quiet, unassuming, but you walked in there and you look around at the cars and go, oh my goodness. And I was racing vintage cars at the time. And I think it was that next spring I met him at the Sovereign event, and he was racing a little Lotus, a blue Lotus, a lawn, I believe it was, that was pretty cool. And then he would pull out things like his F40 and F50, and he had a GTO at the time. He had the Jaguar Lightweight. I mean, but such
a lot of Ferraris.
He's had them all. Yeah. Super nice guy. And you're right. Very unassuming, but I think that was a great lesson that he taught you was, car people could sniff out non-car people or posers really quickly. And
the guy that pulls up in a Aston Martin, nothing wrong with an Aston Martin, but they pull up in their Aston Martin, you know, got the chest kind of showing, girls got the fresh boob job, and they get out, and I'm like, dude, stop. Yeah. When I see a car like that, if I have one, I want to sell it. That's how bad it looks. You know what I mean? Because if you're a car guy or gal, it's a culture.
Yes.
But it doesn't, the holier than thou because I have one is BS.
Right.
I can't stand that. I hate that, man.
Yeah. No, when I first met you, I didn't know you very well. I knew of your music, and I thought, okay, maybe it's a guy who's made money, wants to buy cars because of that whole persona. But as you and I spoke, I learned really quickly, wait, this is a real car guy.
Yeah. I started out as a poser, though. I did. No, the first Benz I bought, I went down. Boy, this is embarrassing. I'm going to tell this story.
Okay.
I bought a brand new 560 SEL.
Nice big car, big touring car. Yeah.
First new Benz. Perfect. What do? I drive. I get it in Miami, right? And I see the drug dealers' cars, and I'm like, man, that's what I need. I take this car, go and have it beautiful white 560. I had it painted candy apple red.
Oh my gosh.
With a gold grill.
Okay.
And rims. Got home, matured, and 2 years later, That back then was a $75,000, $80,000 car, which was a lot back then.
Sure.
I got $42,000 for it.
Sure. Yeah. I learned about depreciation.
Yes. And I learned about leave it original. Just leave it original. Don't put rims on it. Jay-Z has a line in one of his songs that I swear by.
Oh, yeah?
I'm young enough to know the right car to buy, yet I'm grown enough not to put rims on it. I don't buy the bright watch. I buy the right.
Yeah.
I live by that now.
No, I think that's great. You know, we're into the new year here, 2022. Can you believe it? Holy cow, we've survived the last 2 years. What's in the future for you with your business, and what's a new adventure for you? Because you're not the kind of guy I think that sits back and retires. I mean, you're a guy that stays busy.
Well, we're going to do some shows. I like to tour for my guys. I treat my group kind of like they're like mini me's, and I don't mean that in a condescending way. What I mean is I want them to be businesses, not employees. So I pay them as businesses. I send them 1099s, and I said, look, you guys, you're your own business, deal with that. Because I want them to pick that up and run with it. Because I'm not touring forever. I'm really honestly kind of sick of it. The only part I like is the show. Getting there, the hotel, the chasing a promoter down. He doesn't want to pay you. Then he does. Then he realizes you're willing to walk, and he meets you at the place and he pays. It's like,
yeah, it's
that energy. And you can see it coming from a mile away. It's like, oh, he's not going to pay you. Oh yeah, he's going to talk about this until right up to showtime. They wait till showtime. Like, you going on stage? Nope. Here's your money. That kind of, it's just like,
yeah, it's a weird business.
Yeah. So I think for me, I'm going to still do some shows. I'm going to ease back on some of that stuff. I'm going to continue licensing because I like it, because you can do it and not be seen.
Yeah.
And that's really good, because the more they see you, they like it initially. And it's like, God, this guy again? I mean, there's some people I see right now. I'm like, oh, Jesus, this guy's on television again. And it makes it kind of corny. Yeah. But I'm gonna do a lot more business, but I'm also going to do a lot more personal, because I have hobbies that are just rusting in the garage right now with
car hobbies.
No, not car hobby. I have a CNC machine up back that I cut and make electronic cabinets for amplifiers I build for people. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I love doing that stuff, man.
You're always doing things. Well, When you think about car, are you a guy that, I know you love to go to some car events. Are there some car events that you'd like to get back out in the world and go see this year?
I would love to go to Monterey again, because it's just I didn't go. I don't know if it even happened last year.
Oh, it did. It did.
Okay. How did it go? I mean, was it
there was a lot less people because a lot of Europeans could not leave or get back into their country. So it was quieter. There was a lot of events that weren't taking place, the side events, but the main events were still taking place, and there was still a good number of people. So in that respect, it was only good that it wasn't as crowded, because Monterey, as you know, Car Week, it's a little crazy. I think this year you're going to see something very different, and it'll be back to the norm where we all get together with people. So definitely, I'm planning on going this year. So we got to connect and
let's go over to Bubba Gump Shrimp, man, and get something to eat and tell some lies.
There you go. I think that sounds like fun. Okay, I'm going to be your car psychologist here. All right, this is
help me out.
Okay, help you out. I'm going to help you, Anthony. I'm going to crawl into your skull and ask you this question. If you were manifest as a vehicle, now this isn't what you want to be. This is how you perceive the man in the mirror. You got to dig a little deep for me here. Ooh. What would Anthony Ray be? But more importantly, why?
Now, why would I want to be, or what do I see me be?
No, this is not what you want to be. That's too easy. This is, if you dig deep into your psyche of the kind of man you are, what would that translate into a vehicle?
I would say, and this is going to sound kind of goofy.
That's okay. It's a goofy question.
I would say the new iteration of the Corvette.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, even though I've only had one Corvette.
Yeah.
And I say that because I'm not, I have a Lamborghini, but I'm not that outrageous personally, right? But I like style, but I don't want to be the only guy you look at, because you might steal my wallet. So I'm one of those kind of guys that there's something about that Vet. Yeah. It sounds so much better to me, because I love the sound of an exotic. Yeah. And that oh my goodness, to hear that sounds like a Ferrari going by. I just love this. I love the high revving engine. I love the fact that Chevrolet did it. I'm proud of them, and made here. So that don't get me started with the whole flag waving. But probably that Vet, because it's humble, but it's going to kick a lot of ass.
I'm really impressed what they did with that car. And there's been times I've seen them coming in a rearview mirror, And I went, which Ferrari is that? And I go, that's not a Ferrari.
Yeah.
And
close your eyes and listen to one and watch what you do.
That's the other part of it. Yeah, they did a nice job with that car. But we didn't touch on here today, and I want to go back to this, is Lamborghini, because I do think of you as a bit of a Lamborghini kind of guy. And the thing about Lamborghini to me is like, it's the rebel Ferrari guy.
Yeah.
It's the guy that wants to be a little different, be a little out there. What is it about the Lamborghini brand that you love so much?
You hit it right on the nose. I felt when I was looking to buy my first exotic, even though I ended up buying a Ferrari, oddly enough, it was one of the directors of The Exorcist that talked me into getting the Testarossa.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Noel Marshall was his name. And
wow.
He talked me into it. But anyway, I bought the Testarossa, but it was really interesting. When I bought it, it felt the process, the sale felt, you're here now. You've arrived.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, whereas Lamborghini, man, come here, dude. Yeah, welcome to Lamborghini. It just felt a little tacky, but not too hairy chest, but a little too hairy chest for me. But when you find guys that take Lamborghini serious and aren't trying to, pose and show up,
not trying to show off. Yeah, it's just
with a giant diamond. It's kind of if you took an exotic and you made it a working exotic, it would be Lamborghini post Audi.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Audi relationship is what made me really like Lamborghini, because initially, they were two-wheel drive. They were scary as hell. I mean,
oh yeah.
I drove the anniversary model Countach '89, and I used to think people were posing when they drove down in Miami with the doors open.
And it's hot. Yeah, hot.
You can't breathe. You can't breathe, man. Yeah. The air condition was like nothing. So I think, I Lamborghini for me, I love them. I'll probably always have one. Because they are the bastard child of Ferrari. I mean, they don't care. And I think because of Audi, they're going to probably be electrified in a better way than Ferrari will.
That's interesting you say that. I was just having that conversation with somebody the other day. Where it's going to happen with these cars. You already see Porsche talking about it. You see Ferrari. I mean, you go, when is Ferrari going to build electric? When are Lamborghini? I mean, they're going to have to go that way at some point in time. And how are they going to manage that for us diehard guys that love those sounds of those engines?
Thank you. I was just going to say everything about, you and I both can do this, can close our eyes and hear a Ferrari go down the street and know it's a Ferrari, and you hear a Lamborghini go down the street, you know it's a Lamborghini. And it's just, when that's gone, that's going to be very interesting. The speed is,
really?
I drove my first Tesla a week
ago. What'd you think?
The guy that bought my old house, and I loved it. I was surprised. It was only a Model 3. I was like, and I was driving it with no hands, it scared the hell out of me. I'm like, he's like, don't touch the wheel. I'm like, dude. Because it waits so long before it starts to turn. It's kind
of freaky, yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah. But I tell you, I liked it. It just looks so mundane though. It's like a female slipper going down the street. I think I almost bought a Taycan Turbo S, but it costs way too much, and the range is really low on it. Yeah. 200, maybe 220. But I love the little fake sound when I revved it up. I like that. I mean, I need something visceral. And with the Tesla, I didn't hear anything. It was just silence.
Well, I think the Tesla has its place for what it does. And, for those of us who still want to have that toy, something fun, we're still going to have that. And that's where I think some of these cars are going to end up being these exotic cars that we have now. They're going to end up being play toys for tracks and special events, sadly. Now, this could be 50 years from now, because gasoline's not going away for a while. There's no way. Can't happen. There's not enough electricity. Anthony, are you a reader? Is there a book that you've maybe read in the last year or so that you really stood out for you that you'd like to share?
I'm like the kids now, man. Everything I read is on YouTube. That's me reading a book. Like,
is that a quote I can put on a T-shirt?
yeah, that'd be great. Everything I read is on YouTube. I watch I can't believe how many instructional YouTube videos I watch that have nothing to do with anything I'm doing.
Yeah,
right.
I know.
I'm in the studio. I own my mixer over here. I know how to use this mixer. But I will watch an instructional video on the mixer I've already owned for 5 years just to see maybe he has something, maybe he's doing something I'm not doing, That's
how I learned how to be a podcaster. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, how to record, how to edit, how to build a website. It's amazing what you can learn out there today. It really is.
Have you ever explained to your kid what an owner's manual looks like?
We have a joke in my family whenever any of my kids or my wife says, something's out working on my car. And before I can say it, they go, I know what you're going to say. Have you read the owner's manual?
Yeah.
But now I just go onto my phone and go, how do I change the clock back on my X5? I don't remember how to do that,
Yeah, matter of fact, my owner's manual for this gigantic mixer over here is literally a USB key.
Is it really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Everything is there.
Yeah.
Even a guy on a video showing me how to do stuff. I'm like, wow.
Well, I'm gonna use that quote. I love that quote. Everything I read is on YouTube. That's ultimate. Very good. Before I let you go, I'm gonna let you go on the ultimate ride. I've got an unlimited checkbook here. So I'm like the producer that has tons of money, okay? And as you, the creative guy, I'm going to let you pick any vehicle in the world. You can be driving with anyone, living or deceased. That opens up an interesting window. And you can be driving anywhere you want to be in any car. What does that look like for Anthony Ray?
Who's driving, me or the...
You get to choose it all, my friend. So you could have a passenger or pick a race car driver that could be taking you around the Nürburgring or Spa.
I would say, because he probably hates this car,
okay,
the Bugatti Chiron.
Oh my gosh.
With Jay Leno driving.
Okay.
He kind of doesn't like Lamborghini. He cracks a little joke. He goes, yeah, I don't like exotics that look like insects. I'm like, that's what I do like. I like the wings.
What do let me ask you about that, because the Bugatti, we haven't talked about that. That's kind of those crazy outlier things. I mean, it's ridiculously priced. You see them once in a while being driven, but I think they're more trophy queens that sit in a garage for many people.
You know what? I drove one.
Did you?
Yeah, they brought one out to Redmond Town Center, and I drove it. Greg, of course, he didn't. He couldn't stand it. Tom drove it. Vic, all of us drove it.
Okay.
But I think I was the only one that got that 1,000 horsepower needle to go up to 1,000.
Oh my gosh! Whoa!
I won't say I was on a city street. I'll say I was on the straightaway.
There you go, on the straightaway. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be Jay Leno. He called me to do his show, but it was during the middle of COVID. I'm like, I don't want to come down. I don't think I want to be staying at hotels and stuff at that time. I feel bad because it was Jay Leno.
Yeah, I know.
Come on, man. That would have been huge. So I hope he calls back or whatever. I really like that guy. He's another guy that's so modest, man.
Yeah.
It's just
quintessential car guy.
Yeah, he's hardcore.
Yeah.
Way beyond me.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows he can tell you every motor in every car since the 50s. I don't get in that deep.
He's amazing. Before I let you go today, I'd love for you to share a success quote, a mantra, some kind of words of inspiration for those folks out there. It could be business related, music related, something to maybe set the new year off right.
There's one line I always go by. As a matter of fact, we're working on locking it up and making it mine. We'll see. But Hard work is preparation for a lucky day.
I love it. Hard work is preparation for a lucky day. That's awesome. How can people follow along with what you're doing these days?
You can follow me on Twitter at The Real Mix. You can follow me on Instagram at The Real Sir Mix-a-Lot. Somebody stole the name, obviously. And obviously, Facebook, look me up under Sir Mix-a-Lot. You'll see my fat head. I don't post a lot, but I'm learning to post more. YouTube, look up Sir Mix-a-Lot. You'll see me. By the way, those of you who like, and I'm not trying to sell a song because I never put it up for sale. The song's always been just on YouTube. There's a song called Cars, C-A-R-Z, that I did with all my friends from Redmond Town Center. Yeah. We did it right over here at a Crest Air Park. Cool. And we were flying down the straightaway at 150 miles an hour legally. Legally. There you go. Legally. You guys check out that video. It's like 10 minutes of nothing but car porn. It is cool. I will put a link to that. I've seen that. I want to do a shout out to our mutual good friend, Scott Whitehead. He's the one that got us together here today. Scott is awesome. He was an early guest of mine. Took a chance with me when I said, hey, I want to be a podcaster. And he said, what's that? And he's been on the show a few times. He's done some amazing things. And I'm sure he's put some sound systems in your vehicles. Oh, yeah. He's done some sound systems. And what he's doing on the Scrape Armor, I'll just say that right now. I can't tell everything, but what he's doing with Scrape Armor is incredible. It's not the same old bumper guard crap. No. You listeners, go check that out. I had him on the show this past year, 2021. He talked about his links with GM. He's doing some stuff for the Corvette. Okay, he said, okay. Yeah, okay. That's all out there. So he's producing that stuff, OEM stuff for the Corvette. He's one of those guys that just, his brain is always, it's like you. I know why you guys get along. Your brains are always working on what's next. What can I do? The stuff he did for COVID, for the healthcare industry, to put that stuff out there. So Scott, you're the guy. Good job. He's the guy, man. That guy's I met Scott at 17 years old. Really? You've known him that long? Yeah, my Porsche Gambala, I had the white one. I wanted him to do my system. And why? Because I was getting it done at another place, and he witnessed something that I don't even want to repeat because it was so foul that they said about me. And so I took my car And I said, why don't you do it?
So were you one of his first clients then?
I was his first client because he came to my house and did it in my garage.
No way.
At my old house, which is right down the street. Yeah, him and his wife.
Oh my!
She wasn't his wife. She wasn't his wife yet.
Yeah, they were boyfriend and girl. They were high school sweethearts.
Yes, 1 o'clock in the morning. I said, dude, go home or come in here and go to sleep. Nope, I want to get this knocked out. And we finished that car. We took it down to CES.
Wow.
It was a starter show down there, and we've been friends ever since, man. That guy is my buddy for life.
He's a hard worker.
Yes.
Yeah.
He needs to stop working sometimes. I said, dude, take a pause and go do something that's not work related.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's hard. It's hard for people like him, for you to do that, because you know what? He's doing what he loves, just like you're doing what you love.
Right.
Yeah.
I love this game, man. I love the business. Sometimes I get around other artists and they bore the hell out of me because they've seen everything's about attention.
Yeah.
You know, me. It's like, dude, act like you've been there before.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and let some of these young kids get the shine, man.
Yeah.
I want to just produce somebody. Let them go out and do what they do. You know, I can help them manage stuff if they want me to. If not, they can go broke like I did and learn the hard way.
Yeah. Well, there's other ways to learn. Yeah. Well, Anthony, this has been great fun to connect with you. Wish you the best in 2022. Congratulations on 30 years. Baby Got Back. I mean, tremendous. The longevity of that song is incredible. You're a great guy, and I really want to thank you. Until you and I talk again, my friend, I'll see you down the road.
Vroom, vroom.
There you go. This was a great fun. I really want to thank you for doing this with me. This was awesome.
Right on, man. No, anytime. I love talking this stuff.
You take care of yourself, my friend.
All right, man.
The most important lesson I've learned after interviewing nearly 2,000 people is that we are at our best when we help others. Cars Yeah is all about inspiring automotive enthusiasts and helping others to be successful. In 2022, my charities of choice are TechForce Foundation and RPM Foundation. Both are groups of like-minded nonprofits working together to preserve and promote car culture across the country. RPM was created to ensure that the specialized skills needed to care for classic automobiles, boats, and motorcycles continue to be passed down from generation to generation. They do this by supporting training for young people with a passion for restoration and setting them up with mentors who can share their valuable knowledge. TechForce Foundation is dedicated to solving the technical shortage that threatens the transportation industry today by providing career development resources and increasing awareness and enthusiasm for the tech profession. Learn more about these groups at RPM Foundation and TechForce Foundation today.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.